He has been reported as being caught alone with his children, and his bond has not been revoked. Additionally, social services has not taken his children away from him. Foster parents get protection in Arapahoe County in the state of Colorado.
So he's still a foster parent. He's still on the foster parent list?
We have not been able to find that he has been licensed, so we don't know if he ever was licensed. His wife is licensed, but we don't know if he was. We don't know if he's living in the home when he's not supposed to be. All we know is that his children are not under state custody.
Amazing.
He forced these girls to perform oral sex on him.
And this is the foster father.
Correct.
That's supposed to be protecting the children from the abusive father, biological father that spanked them?
That's correct.
So in the eyes of the state of Colorado, you're saying a foster father that forces a 13-year-old girl to perform oral sex is better than a biological father who spanked that same girl.
I think that that would be a logical conclusion that any reasonable person could arrive at under the circumstances. This same prosecutor who is offering this man the deferment prosecuted another man for swatting his 6-year-old daughter once on the backside with her 4-year-old sister's shoe. Took him to court, made him go to trial, tried to find him guilty, and failed.
What's the prosecutor's name?
I mean the district attorney's office. I don't know who the...
Okay, is this in Arapahoe County or Adams County?
Arapahoe County. This is all Arapahoe County. I got a call from one of the girls from, yesterday. She has... Mr. Key Hamlet has herpes. And he infected these girls with herpes. And she has an outbreak, and her mouth and her throat are swollen with sores and lesions. She's a runaway foster child.
We're talking about the same 13-year-old whose father had spanked her, but now she's got herpes as a result of being put in a Colorado foster home with a known pervert. Was he known to be a pervert before this incident, or just since his wife Sabrina caught him?
I have done a criminal records check on him. There are no sexual crimes listed. However, there is a report that he raped somebody else who is known to a close friend of the family. We have been doing our own investigation into this too, and his wife knows about that rape too. This may have been something that may have been withheld during the foster care licensing process, but we don't. That is the only extent that we know of any history on this man. There are prior acts of involving alcohol and assault type of stuff also in the past, so we don't know.
Has Sabrina ever charged him with abuse or called 911 to your knowledge?
No, she did not report when she caught him with the girl.
She did not report it?
She did not report. The children reported it after they were removed from that foster home.
And how long ago did this incident happen?
A couple years ago. And he's only just now being charged because the girls just now came forward with it.
Is there any way to document that the herpes the girl has in her mouth came from this man's...
Well, I'm sure there would be. The problem is the guardian ad litem who was supposed to protect these children took no action to protect these children. Did not file a notice with the state of Colorado to sue the state on their behalf. They have lost all right to sue the state of Colorado for this trauma, this injury that they have suffered.
Why have they lost the right to sue?
Because 180 days, if they don't file the notice within 180 days, they cannot sue the state.
But they're minors. Don't they have 180 days after they turn 18?
Not in the state of Colorado. So the guardian ad litem had an obligation.
And who's the guardian ad litem?
We can't find that out.
They won't tell you who the guardian ad litem is?
Kids don't know. They've never met him.
Oh. And the kids have never met the guardian ad litem. Isn't it a matter of court record, though, who the guardian ad litem would be?
Well, court records are confidential in child welfare cases.
Oh.
The state has done a very good job of protecting itself from liability, hasn't it?
It sounds like the type of court proceedings you would find in the old Soviet Union. I mean, it sounds like,
it's a star chamber, isn't it?
It does. It sounds like star chambers. And
yeah. Predetermined outcomes. Facilitators instead of representatives. Counsel to represent your legal interests. These informal hearings are so atrocious. They are open to court. They are open in the state of Colorado. But they are informal. Nobody's put under oath. You don't get to cross-examine the makers of the reports that are being entered against you. Parents' attorneys won't enter a report on their own behalf. These hearings take approximately 10 minutes.
Is there a notice of the hearing, and is it posted?
They get a notice of the hearing. They know when the hearing is going to be. It's on their dockets are there. But the problem is that there is no adversarial process. It's all predetermined before they walk in the courtroom, and regardless of what the parent wants, regardless of what the children want, it's predetermined. And the court and their attorneys actively participate in stripping them of their rights.
When you say of them, you mean the children's rights or the parents' rights?
Both of them. The guardians ad litem participate in stripping the children of their rights. The parents' attorneys participate in stripping the parents of their rights.
So would it be a good idea, if you're having a divorce problem, to avoid hiring any attorneys when you're going and just try to settle it out of court between the private parties? Would that be the best advice?
I have advised in my book that if you're going to get a divorce, it's best to hammer out the details and arrive with a stipulation you can walk into the courtroom with regarding all issues of child support, who's going to take care of the children and get custody, anything. Because if you walk into a courtroom and you are fighting each other, neither one of you are going to be happy with what the judge decides, and you are both probably going to be bankrupt by the whole process. The cheapest and smartest way is to work it out before you walk into the courtroom and just get the judge to sign what you've already agreed on.
How would you describe the morality of most of the divorce industry, the attorneys that do these divorces, the child psychologists, the child protection service caseworkers? How would you describe the morality?
It's like I mentioned before, there is a complete lack of conscience, a complete lack of sense of right and wrong. There are going to be mistakes made, for one thing, and when one of these professionals makes a mistake, they're not going to admit it, and they're going to go to great lengths in order to cover up that mistake, regardless of the effect that it has on the children or the family that's involved. These people are in this for the money. How many times have you called an attorney and said, I need to have representation, and they say, I need $5,000 retainer, and if you don't give me $5,000, I can't help you. I understand that people have to make a living, but this is sucking the families of America dry. The child support enforcement agencies, which are set up strictly to collect money from one end and distribute it out the other, can't even do it as good as the private agencies can. Get rid of them. The courts are making decisions by flipping coins, by deciding who they like best, who presents the best. That's not how you make a decision about this kind of an issue, particularly where children are involved.